So how's everything going? Pretty smooth so far, not bad. It's been pretty easy. Tonight won't be any different. We're going to get the third code structure in tonight. Um, and this will allow us, I mean, these three, the sequential, the repetition, or the selection and decision, and then this tonight, repetition, are the three main structures, okay? And from then we can work into creating the other stuff, but we got to be able to do these things, and there'll be a lot more we can do with them, even from these basic introductions, okay, that we've done so far. So we did sequential, we've done decision selection, and so tonight we're going to introduce repetition or iteration, if you want to use the geeky term for it. In Python, there's the basic two repetition structures are a while, which is a conditional loop. Okay. Depending on some condition, the loop's going to run. And it's also what we call a pretest loop. Um, it may never run at all. Okay. If the initialization, okay, if the initialization for the loop is false, we'll never get into it. Okay, so you might have something like, you have somebody entering a number. And if that number is outside of a range, then the loop will run. If it's within the range, it'll check it and say, okay, is the number less than 10? So if they put in a number less than 10, the loop never runs. Okay, because we'll have a loop there that says while in whatever it's called, while number is greater than 10, run the loop that says, what are you, an idiot? I said less than 10. Um, so it's a pretest loop. Okay. Another one we're going to look at is a counter condition or a counter loop, and that's our for loop. So it's when we know a certain number and we're going to run it a certain number of times. Okay. Conditional loop, I may not know on the front end how many times it's going to run, right? I mean, if the user was to keep typing in a number higher than 10, just to be, then it'll run forever if he keeps typing them in. So that's the condition there. Where our numeric loop, or that our for loop, usually has a set number and is based on a number. In other words, run this 10 times. Okay. And there's a few format things for that, but it's like, what number do you want to start at? What number do you want to end at? And then there's a third thing you can add in there, is to increment it at a certain. So if I wanted to type 13579, for example, I could put in 1 comma and then even 10 comma and then 2. So then I get 13579. Okay. It wouldn't print 11 because that's more than 10. So I can do that, okay, in my loops. I even think, I'm almost sure this is like other loops, is you can count backwards. So if I wanted to initialize it at 10, if I had a countdown, I'm going to send a rocket to wherever, SpaceX or whatever. Um, I could start at 10, and then where do I want to end? I want to end at 0, and then -1 for my increment. So I could run it backwards like that. Okay. So interesting stuff. And again, not too complicated. The book's pretty simplistic on it. I would recommend that you read over the text. And then if you're having problems with it, and that, I would go to YouTube Excuse me. And look at one of their, I mean, you'll have our video, but it never hurts to look at other people's videos. And there's a bunch of them out there. Sometimes they make them a little more than what they should be at this stage. I had some loops that I wanted you to look at, but then I realized they had put functions in them and we haven't introduced it. It isn't that hard. Just to right now, we're in a point with our book in that where we haven't broken our programs up into um, different, that one method should do one thing and do it very well. And we're going to do that in weeks to come. Right now, we're just kind of cramming everything into the one thing. Andrea, is that your real wall behind you, or is that a background?
Yeah, that's the real wall.
Did you paint that yourself?
No, my sister painted it.
Okay. Wow. That is not the real library at Dartmouth behind me, by the way, if you were wondering. Kind of like the halo around my head gives it away, I think. I had Bernie behind me earlier, but then that's getting kind of old. I like the one where he's eaten by the polar bear, though. That one, and I like Nighthawks. Do you guys know that picture? That painting? It's in the Chicago Art Museum. It's the corner cafe at night, and it's called Nighthawks. And so Bernie's chair is sitting outside on the street, and Bernie's sitting at the counter in the restaurant. I don't know. And then, oh, I got the baseball card one. Did I tell you that? It's like high end baseball cards, right? Have the picture of the guy and his autograph. And then there's like a little cutout of his jersey that you get with the baseball card. Well, this one had Bernie, his signature, and then a piece of the mittens in the picture. So it was pretty funny. People have way more time, much more time than I do. So we're going to go ahead and program, oh, probably two or three programs because they're pretty short. Oh, and the one of the things is from now on, unless there's some reason why you can't, your program should run over and over and over again. Okay. So let's start with that. We'll just do one that just runs. It doesn't do a whole lot, but you'll get the idea that way. Okay. So I am going to start sharing, and I'm going to share Thorny here. Okay. All right. And again, as we go, if you have problems, just let me know. Okay. So this one here, I'm not going to worry too much about. Let's just do this. I'm just going to say example of how. All right. So it doesn't matter what you use as long as it means something. So I'm going to say keep going is equal to a y. And then I'm going to say while keep going is equal to y. And then I'll even make it a little bit user friendly. And we'll tweak that later on and make it to uppercase. But for right now, this is fine. I think next week is our, we start dealing with strings or something. Notice again, like the if statements, we end the line with a colon. Okay. And notice how Thorny and Idle move your cursor to where it should be. your indentation there. Okay. So I'm just going to print something just for nothing else than hello. And then, okay, so let me go back up here. And I'm going to put loops have 4 parts. The problem is some people forget that. Okay. Okay. And then this would be, and this will be, all right. Let's see here, blah, 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 blah. I think that'll be good. So those are the 4 parts: initialize, test, process, and increment. And let's see if I can get this to run. So here it is. Do you want to go again? Says yes. So if I just type a Y, says, do you want to go again? Type a capital Y, I'm fine. If I type an N, program quits. Okay. So now, basically, what I'm saying here is for now, all your code goes right here. Okay. In the number 3. The process. Again, where people get in trouble is right here. Okay. You see it? So that's an infinite loop. Why? Because there's no way for me to turn the Y off. Okay. So that term infinite loop is a bad thing. So you don't want that in your programs. All right. We put that back in. We're good to go. Other ways you can get infinite loops is if you make whatever it is out of range. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Usually you get in trouble with that if you put numbers in here and it jumps over the number. So if you're ever going to use a while loop with numbers, let's say you wanted it to count to 10. So you would say always put less than and equal to 10. Okay. Um, versus just equal to 10. Things like that. prevents a lot of errors. So any questions on this? So you're going to use this from now on. I don't care if you call it keep going or run again or again, whatever, as long as it has some meaningful name. But for right now, it'll just be this simple scenario, and we'll put our code inside here. Okay.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll cover this. Can we do, for instance, like a while true and then just use a break statement if a condition's met?
Just do this for now.
All right.
All right. And we'll look into it. Okay. We'll keep it. All right. So I'm going to just copy this. Create a new program. And this one, I think will be, let's do, okay. How about, and then, oops. I'll stop it. And we can just delete that. All right. Blah, 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 blah. I think that's all good. So we'll just start here. All right. Hmm. Let me see how I want to do this. Yeah. And then, of course, So those are my our prompt here. I'm going to put decimal commission rate. And then even right here, that's good like that. Oops. That's right like that. Okay. Let's see what that looks like anyway. Yeah, okay. We got something wrong here. It's one. It's something goofed up.
Isn't it the apostrophe after the 0.2f?
Oh, you are correct, probably. Mm. So that doesn't look too bad. And then we could hit Y. Comes back up. And that seems to be working correctly. Type an N, Boom. So not too bad.
How how do you get rid of the space in front of 105?
105. Oh,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Because I noticed like over the past couple weeks, it automatically puts a space in for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you do
I
it?
don't have a choice there, do I?
I
I think it's just leave it like that for now.
okay.
We could do this one too, couldn't we? If we do and then put our see if that'll, I mean, it isn't going to change that space, but oh, and what did I do this time? Oh, right there is that. Why is it? Is dollar sign that? Oh, I'm missing a comma. There we go. So yeah, I get a space there too because of the comma. So okay. So again, a little more flexibility. Again, here, look, if you put an N in here, we run it, doesn't never run. Okay. So again, if I increment that wrong, so that's what we mean by a pre-test loop. Okay. Pre-test loop. All right. Any questions? Touch this up with, I always like my little. I'm just going to save it. And if you notice there, I put this outside of that loop. Okay. Oh, actually, this should be, let's see if it, there we go. I was thinking this should try something here. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't even need an if statement to do that. I wrote an if statement for some reason.
Oh, no, you don't.
Like if it doesn't equal y or lowercase y.
Right, you shouldn't need it because it'll still print these.
Right. It'll just go to the next thing. Right.
Right. Because this all should be inside the loop. Okay, so if I undo it out here, then it should print no matter what once the loop is ended. All right. So that's a little introduction there with the while loop. Keep going. And so that's okay. Go on, Grace, go out again. All right, so let's start another one. And this one, I think we'll do so again, I would expect you guys to know the 4 parts of the loop. Again, initialize, test, process, and increment. I would expect you to know that a while loop is what you call it, a pretest loop. Okay. You know, now that I'm thinking about this, maybe I shouldn't do this one. Hang on a second. I think I'm going to change this. And let's do this one because this is another one that uses a while loop. But I'll advise you on this. This is one of your homework ones. What I want it to do is like after the first hour, okay? How far did you go after the second hour? How far did you go? Okay. So that's pretty easy to do. Now, what I want you to do also, though, is if I put in that I drove for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, okay, how are you going to handle that? And I'll tell you this what I would do is have the user type in the time, okay, as a float. Okay, so they type it in, and let's say they put in 2.5, 2.5. And I would save that as maybe time. Okay. Then right underneath that, all I want at this point is the hours. Okay. So then I would do, so I'd have something like this. So I get the time. Okay. And then down below that, I'm going to break out the hour. So again, this isn't going to run. I'm just So that would give you there, let's say we started with 2.5 or something. All right. So this would give me 2. All right. And then the, I'll just call it remainder, is equal to time minus hour, right? So time minus hour. And then, okay. And then time minus hour divided by, or no, times 60. No. Hour. It'll just be 0.5, yeah. All right. So then, let's say you got a speed of 60. Okay. So now what you're going to do here is have a loop. Okay. So you'd have a 4, let's see, 4. I can never figure. Let's see. Do I want it as 4? I think that's what I want. Yeah. I think it's +1. Something like that. And then you're going to go ahead and do, oops, I forgot my, um, and then this is a tab. And then we want to put hour times hour is speed times hour. Oh, no, that ain't right. Hang on. Let's do it this way. This will be distance. And above that, we'll calculate the distance first. That's better, I think. Whoops, sorry. Okay, what happened here? Here we go. You guys see that again? I hope. Hello?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, I kind of had what you call it's going on there for a minute. Okay, so that's fine for the full hours, right? So then I need to come out of that. And the last thing I want to do is to calculate. So this will be let's see, what is it? Hour. Yeah, okay. I did this once earlier today. Okay, I'm going to redo distance. That's right. So here, we're going to recalculate distance as, and you can do plus equal, okay? Or you should be able to. Again, if you have trouble with that, you can put it just equals distance plus remainder times speed. And then the last thing you would do is redo this. Bring that down, Control V, remove hour and make it time. Let's see if this will run. And there you go. So that's what your output should look like. Okay, for 2.5 hours. So now all you're going to do is replace this up here. Okay. With, because this isn't user friendly, right? Because we got a fixed time here. So the only time this would be good is if you drove 2.5 hours at 60 miles an hour. So we want to make sure that we have our inputs in that. And of course, that the program runs more than once. So those are things you need to add to this. Okay, but I gave you a pretty good start there. Okay, any questions on that one?
So we need to make it loop and we need to take user input for time.
Yeah, for time and speed.
Okay, just making sure.
All right, so that shouldn't hurt you too bad, you know. Just make it yours. Make sure you have a purpose down here. Things like that, okay? All right, so let me take a look here. All right, that looks good. So I got a new one coming in here. And this one will be project. I'll make it coins. Not walking for coins. Mm. Oops. Don't misspell nickel like I just did, right? All right. Hang on a minute, please. My dogs are being bad again. All right. Sorry about that. I'll just put something to that effect. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. So need 3 variables. Change that. I need number of days. And making that 0.0 so it knows that it's a float at that point. And then we'll put in days is equal to input. Oops. Okay, so we got that.
Looks like it's got one more parentheses in there.
You're right. Thank you. And then we can print out can I just do /t and then I think that'll work. Oh, there goes my phone off. Okay, that's crazy. It won't answer it. Okay. Oh, did you see I screwed up here? I had an S here. I didn't have an S here. Should be that works. And then I think that'll work. So let's see what happens here. So again, the question would be, if I asked you, if you came to work for me and I told you I'd give you a penny a day, doubled every day for working for me, or I'll give you $1 million to work for me for a month, which one would you pick?
Exponential growth.
The penny.
Yep, you should be able to pick the penny. Okay, so it asks me how many days do I want to work? And I'll just say 30 for now. And you can see I would make $5 million at a penny a day. Not a bad income, right? So that would be, if you didn't get all these, you just get the amount the last day. So then the question is, what if you got paid every day? Okay. So we could also calculate that. Let's see, I did that. So it should be in there. So then should be able to print. Shouldn't need that space there, should I? Something like that. Let's see how that comes out with even without doing the formatting. So if I put in 31 days, uh-oh, we got something wrong, huh? Where is it? Total is not. It's total pay, probably. Oops. So now my total pay would be $21 million at a penny a day if I got paid every day. Day one, I get 1 cent. Day two, I get 1 plus 2, 3 cents, et cetera, et cetera. So depending on how you interpret the pay, you can see here, let's stretch this out. That's basically what you got here.
I entered 400 and it actually uses scientific notation. So
Cool. You can do other stuff. So what on this one, what I want you to try and do is also have an if statement. Okay. That you can pick. Am I getting a penny a day, a nickel a day, a dime a day, or a quarter a day? So I want you to add that to this program. Okay. So again, we got this loop out here, while loop, pretest. We got a counting loop in here. Okay. Wonder if I can just screw this up real good here once. Let's see what happens there, if anything. I just want to see if it'll do every other day or something. Sure did. Let's see what we got. There you go.
So in range you put the range is 1 to number of days that you entered plus 1, and then you put another 2.
So this is the increment here.
Okay, so it's counting by 2. Okay.
Right. So it's counting by 2. And what I was saying before, I think you can put a 10 here and then count backwards. Okay, but you'd have to put a negative number in if you wanted to just, like if you were going to do a countdown 10, 9, 8, 7 for some reason. Okay.
You would just do num days plus 1, comma 1, and then comma negative 1.
Yeah. In other words, if you put 31 up here or what, I don't know. Yeah, and it would count down, or it should. You'd start here. And then this would be like 0. And then this would be -1 or something like that. So if you needed to count down, you should be able to use this range thing to do that. There's other ones of these. You can have like 4 names in. I'll show you what it looks like here. Down here somewhere. This is just, I'm just typing this in for you. So you can do something like this, 4 names in a bracket like that. Doug, Tom, Sue. And then if I wanted to print names, I just put print names and I could print them out in the loop. Okay. And there's some examples of these in your book as you're reading through the chapter. Um, So you can do it that way. If you just want to count to 5, all you need is the first number. Okay. In other words, I don't know where I want to put this. I'll just stick it in here for now. See if I get anything with that. Did you see it here? So it starts at 0 and counts 5 numbers. Okay. So you don't have to put in, that'll just count to 5. Let's see what you get now. See that? It stops before the 5. That's why when we were doing the number of days, we were putting that in. Okay, so now it'll count 1 to 5. There you go. So be careful with that, because you got that 0. If you don't spec it, it's going to start at 0. So I got any questions? So again, this one, to tweak it, you're going to change this to an if and let the user decide where they want to start. You might want to check up on, well, we're going to cover it in the future, on how to format this so it looks pretty. The numbers, the dollar signs with commas and everything. But we'll get to that, so you don't have to. So you got that one. We went over the travel one. You need to tweak that one. And then there's one other one for you to do this week. Okay. We talked a little bit about 4 parts of a loop: pretest loop, conditional loop versus a counting loop. And that's about my song and dance for today. You got till midnight tonight to turn in your programs from last week. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing there.